Our guest today is board chairman of the Barack Obama Foundation. He oversaw the selection process for the Barack Obama Presidential Center. He is a longtime friend of City Club of Chicago member, President Obama, and served as the national treasurer for his 2008 and 2012 presidential campaigns. He earned his MBA at the University of Chicago and his Bachelor of Science degree from Albion College. Ladies and gentlemen, Marty Nesbitt. Marty?
All these people. I didn't expect such a large crowd. Well, it's a real pleasure to be here to speak in front of a City Club of Chicago audience. I've always been long impressed by the caliber of speakers that this organization seems to attract on a continuous basis. But I know now firsthand how they do it. Jay just locks you in on speed dial, and he just keeps calling you until you commit. I learned after a few weeks, you can run, but you can't hide. But I'm happy to be here, and over the years, I've had the opportunity to serve this city in several capacities, as a business person, philanthropist, board member of the Chicago Housing Authority, and several other not-for-profit boards. But today, I'm especially honored to continue my commitment to the City of Chicago as chairman of the Barack Obama Foundation. And of course, it's always and also a great honor to serve the President and First Lady in this capacity. We've been friends for many, many years, and I really cherish the opportunity to help them plan for their life after Washington, D.C. It's been a few months since the foundation announced that Chicago will be the site of the foundation, so I thought I'd use today as an opportunity to give everyone an update on our progress toward developing the mission, programs, and design for the foundation. I'll also spend a little bit of time discussing the impact that we hope to have on the broader community, both near term and beyond. And then I'd like to take as many questions as I can. To begin, though, I want to speak briefly about our mission. As most of you have heard the President and First Lady say, they believe that real change doesn't come from the top down, but that it comes from the bottom up. It happens when people from different backgrounds and beliefs come together to improve the communities that make the world a better place. This belief in the power of grassroots change is rooted in Barack's experience as a young organizer here in the streets of Chicago. It's a belief that Barack and Michelle carried with them to the White House, where they asked all Americans to join to help them expand opportunity, protect our planet, improve the health of our families, and promote peace and dignity around the world. Those are the beliefs that will guide our work at the foundation. We've been spending a lot of time figuring out what that actually looks like in practice. We spent some time exploring the philanthropic landscape, studying best practices and looking at what other folks are doing. But we want to make sure that our contribution is unique and innovative. We've been talking to people in the academic world about the opportunity to advance research in the areas of civic engagement on a host of issues that the President and First Lady care about. And we've talked to lots of technology experts about cutting-edge tools that can help the foundation fulfill its mission. Now, I must confess, we haven't figured us all out yet. All the details are still in the works, and we're trying to put pieces together. And the most important input, of course, will come from the President and First Lady themselves. They're a little busy, so we're laying the groundwork for them. And when the time is right, we'll ask for their help in making some very important choices. What we do know is that we want the Obama Presidential Center to be more than a museum, a library, and an archive. We want it to be a place that people come to engage with others so that they can better understand and improve their communities and the rest of the world. We want the center to inspire and activate visitors to create change and progress. And we want to build something of a scale and magnitude that fully utilizes the talents, reach, and influence of the President and First Lady. They are remarkable storytellers. They have the ability to convene leaders from across the globe, and they are powerful emissaries for change. We plan to leverage those abilities to maximize the impact that the Obama Foundation will have on the world. So we're going to be ambitious, but we'll always keep in mind that the President's career was launched as a local community organizer. Whatever we do at the Obama Presidential Center must not only impact our nation, but the rest of the world. But it also must have a disproportionate impact on the local community. We will be squarely focused on that. Of course, that can't happen without the community's input. In the coming months, we will be talking to and collaborating with people who live here so that their perspectives and ideas are fully considered during the process. And shortly, we will be announcing the Foundation's head of community engagement, who will be in place, hopefully, by the beginning of next year. But true to form, the President and First Lady want this Presidential Center to broaden the notion of what a presidential library can be. They have challenged the team to be creative and innovative. They have challenged us to leverage technology and the strength of grassroots leadership. They have asked us to think of ways to inspire the local community, the nation, and the world to get involved. If we can build something that helps facilitate real change across a broad array of issues and challenges, I think we will have done our jobs. So that's the kind of foundation we're hoping to build from a programmatic perspective. From a physical perspective, we currently are in the process of selecting a location and an architect, a process which will be completed sometime during the first half of next year. The good news is we've got two terrific sites to choose from, and we really don't think there's a bad choice with respect to picking one. Wherever the Obama Presidential Center goes, it will have an impact on both Washington Park and Woodlawn in profoundly positive ways. Hundreds of architects have shown great interest in the project and have responded to our request for qualifications, and with some really impressive submissions too. We are narrowing our list, and soon we'll invite a subset of those respondents to participate in a request for a proposal process. The President has already made clear that he wants the Foundation's mission and vision to drive the actual design itself. So we're looking to find an architect who can help us build a space that supports the programming platform we ultimately put together. We also intend to build a facility that fits seamlessly into the existing fabric of the neighborhood and the broader community. That means incorporating all the current best practices in sustainability and energy efficiency in its construction. And most importantly, we are going to be extremely mindful of our relationship with the Olmsted Parks and our impact on the surrounding environment. In fact, we'll take a page out of Frederick Law Olmsted himself's book, who believed that design should stay true to what he called the genius of place, the unique spiritual and ecological qualities of a given site. These are already very vibrant parks that have the potential to enrich the communities even more than they already do. And it is our responsibility to enhance that potential, not detract from it. So our plan is to let the natural genius of these local treasures infuse the design decisions so that the Obama Presidential Center can become a lasting asset to the neighborhood. Now, obviously, the Obama Presidential Center will be far more than just a pretty new building in the neighborhood. This will be the first ever presidential center built in the middle of an urban residential setting, and we believe that this project will generate local economic development. We will collaborate with lots of community stakeholders to figure out what we can do together to optimize the number of jobs that are created, the type of residential and commercial development that's generated, and figure out how to attract visitors from around the world to fuel economic vitality in the community. We also hope to attract scholars and innovators who will bring additional value to the community and the broader region. One of the chief considerations when the President and First Lady were deciding where they wanted to put the center was where it could do the most good. To them, it wasn't about what we can get, but about what we can give. That's why our proposed sites aren't inside an affluent enclave or somewhere out in the suburbs. Instead, the President and First Lady made a concerted decision to help the communities that will benefit most from the jobs, money, and foot traffic the center will bring. And in the years ahead, we believe the Obama Presidential Center will become as much of a Chicago destination as Wrigley Field or Grant Park. In fact, it's our hope that we will create a new hub of activity in Chicago that attracts visitors to an experience that can't be had anywhere else in the world. Chicago has a long and proud history of civic leadership, of harnessing the ingenuity and compassion of our citizens to solve problems in ways that no one ever has before. Jane Addams and her colleagues at Hull House changed the lives of their immigrant neighbors and shaped national and international policies for generations to come. Daniel Burnham's bold plan to transform Chicago with infrastructure and parks in the neighborhoods and along the lakefront provided a blueprint that countless other cities have followed. More importantly, it was an expression of faith and optimism that we can achieve great things when we work together. I believe our community can do that again. But in order to realize our vision, we have to start preparing now. The world is already watching. We can't invite the world to the South Side without demonstrating that we can fix our own problems. And that's one of the main reasons why I'm here today, to ask everyone to roll up your sleeves and get involved. We're about to invite the world into our living room. So we need to get our house in order. We need the city and state to work with us in any way they can. We need local businesses to take a risk on the potential of the South Side. And most importantly, we need local residents to embrace this opportunity to create a better future for our children. This library should be an asset to the country and the world, but it should disproportionately help Chicago. Right now, there's a funeral taking place for a 9-year-old boy who was gunned down. Can't forget that. As President Obama said from the beginning, it was never, yes, I can. It was always been, yes, we can. So I urge all of us to come together in the spirit of community that we've seen before and seize this opportunity to become a source of hope and inspiration for the world once again. Thanks. And with that, I'm happy to take some of your questions.
Okay, there they are. Perfect. Timing is everything. If you have a question, raise your hand, and some of our folks will pick them up and hand them in. We have one already. Thomas McElroy. Will you, coming in from all sides, will you make known, by the way, this will only be one question on this, so, oh no, it's okay. Will you make known the short-listed architects for the library? And will local minority and consultants be afforded a chance to present credentials to possibly participate on whatever? The answer, of course, is no. No, go right ahead.
The answer is yes. I think our plan is to let the short list of architects. I keep looking down at Robin Cohn, who's the acting executive director. She knows most things. Our plan is to make the list of the short list of architects known as soon as it's available, and we're working hard to get to that point where we can communicate to the community who's on that list. And of course, local minority firms will be invited to participate. At the foundation of what we're doing is a belief that diversity of participation will make this project better. that diverse perspectives add value, will help us get to better answers, ideas, and solutions. And so that's an important part of what we're doing, making sure we have a diverse group of professionals helping us to get to an end product.
Okay. Mr. Mazur, you heard him before, and he had enough courage to ask this question. Marnie, you're given one mulligan. I know you golf with the president. I understand that. This is from Mr. Mazur. I'm just reading it, okay? Could you ask the President of the United States or the Secret Service, it gets better, to cut back the trees on 51st Street so that tourists and Chicagoans can have a better view of the President of the United States Chicago residence? You're getting applause. As you may not know, Mr. Mazur is one of the premier tour guides in Chicago, and obviously it's a self-serving question, but you could duck it.
I will ask.
Making news, making news. That's why we have to come to the City Club. All right, Marcia Bristow, where are you? Marca Bristow, where are you, Marca? Okay. Access living and ADA. Oh, Marca, hi. I'm sorry. That question threw me off. First, I want to thank you for your willingness to incorporate universal design principles with the Obama Library. Why is this important to you and the President of the United States?
Well, I mean, I think the president values to make this asset and the whole community available to all citizens, and so everybody's equal in his eyes and should have access to all the resources and opportunities that the city offers. I know we've spent some time together already early on talking about this issue, and so it's important to us. I mean, we'll want this to be a place that everybody is welcome and everybody feels welcome, from children on the south side of Chicago to folks with disabilities to people from other parts of the world. So that'll be important. It remains important to us, a value that's really at the foundation of what we're trying to do. So look forward to working with you.
Okay. Will Davis from my old stomping ground, Governor State University. Specifically, what, if any, strategy will the foundation play in addressing the violence and other societal issues in Chicago?
Wow, that's a lot. Look, we're trying to build a platform that helps facilitate change across a broad array of issues in perpetuity. And so when we think about the most important quality for this institution to have, I think it's sort of the capacity to change, the capacity to help adapt to a set of circumstances and fill needs where they arise. And so as part of that, I would hope that we have created a mechanism that allows us to step in and have an impact on something like the issues, the violence that's being faced on the south side of Chicago. But I also hope that we have the capacity to adapt as the city changes or the country changes, the world changes, to adapt and address other problems too. So I don't see any reason why we wouldn't have the mechanism to help make an impact on the current situation with respect to violence in the city of Chicago.
Next question is from Sherry Williams, Brownsville Historical Society. How will the neighborhood history, take two. How will the neighborhood history become a part of the Obama Library vision? Is there a community engagement benefit agreement in place?
So I'll answer the last part first. No, there's not, with respect to a community benefit agreement. But I'll make this point. This is us and us. And this whole notion of a community benefits agreement, I struggle with it. As we are the community, we're part of the community. We're building this. The president lives not too far from both of these sites. So I struggle with that whole concept. Everything we do is about the community. This is us and us. With respect to the neighborhood history, we'll spend a lot of time figuring out how this asset fits into the fabric of the community. A lot of planning and thinking, working with historians and architects to figure out how to synthesize this new asset into the history of the neighborhood and, in fact, the city. So a lot of work to be done on that, but we're trying to be very thoughtful about it. And we hope that at the end of the day, when people come to the Presidential Center and they see it or they see it from the street, they have the impression that we thought of everything, or that we at least tried to think of everything. That give people a sense of history and a sense of vision and a roadmap to a better future.
Okay. We have a couple of questions here that are very specific, and I don't know, I think it's outside Mr. Nesbitt's ability to discuss them, but I'll show it to him because, you'll see in a second. This is not so easy today. I want you to know that. Yeah. May Whiteside, CKL Engineers. Would interactive exhibits be a part of the museum? If so, will you entertain an exhibit featuring African American engineers and, is that contractors? Okay.
We'll entertain anything. How's that? Look, I expect that we will have a state-of-the-art use of technology with respect to the center, its exhibits, tools that it makes available to the community to engage and solve problems. So, the funny thing is, you start thinking about technology, we're several years out from opening the doors of a presidential center. And so trying to anticipate where we will be from a technological standpoint is hard to do. But it's something we'll have to just kind of continuously look at until we have to pull the trigger on making certain decisions. But I think technology has been an important part of the Obama presidency, from the process of campaigning and getting elected in 2008 and 2012, through innovations, I think, at the White House and some of the agencies. And so I think it's reasonable to expect us to do our best to stay on the cutting edge of technology with respect to every aspect of the library.
Okay. This one, and pardon me, I don't know if I could pronounce your first name right. Sharayu? Closer than I thought. Sharayu Patel. If you had to highlight 3 issues that the Barack Obama Foundation would focus on that would have a disproportionate impact on the Southside community.
Now, I'm going to duck that one completely.
Mulligan.
The reason is there's a lot of thought being put into this right now by a lot of different people, not only here but in other parts of the country, and we'll have to be. We can't do everything at once, and so we'll have to make some choices, I think, as to what we're going to focus on at the beginning, and I just don't know what those things will be. But we won't start off with something that doesn't have a local impact, right? That can't be the case. So we should expect that whatever we do and whatever choices we make will have an impact on the city. I don't know exactly what those things will be yet. So it's a little premature for that. It's the risk you take when you try to be transparent. I don't know.
2 more questions, maybe. Marty, I don't know if this is in your purview or even if you have the ability to answer it, but we read the questions, and if you say this is something you can't answer, it's fine. Is it Chris Coleman? Is that close? Close enough. HB Engineering, Obama for America Youth Delegate. Why did President Obama choose to construct the Pullman Library in Hyde Park of all the Chicago neighborhoods and not a youth arts and recreation center? Now, this may not be your...
I can't answer that question. I wasn't involved in that at all.
One more.
So I'm ducking that one.
No, that's not a duck. That was not a question. I mean, that was something... This is another one that's... You know, we pride ourselves in asking sandbag questions. And this is sort of the Indiana Dunes version of that right now. Not so easy up here, Madam President. Bernard Smedmore. At one time, the 7th Ward was considered a potential site for the presidential library. Now that is no longer a possibility, are there any projects planned for the ward by the foundation? All politics is local. I mean, Treasurer Summers, now, you could pass that one too.
Well, let me just say this. We hope that the foundation has a very significant impact on the entire city. So we expect that people that submitted, responded to the RFP from the UIC and the West Side will be impacted by what choices that the foundation makes with respect to programming and engagement. We expect that to spill over to the South Side and the far South Side. We expect it to make its way downtown into Lincoln Park. And so I would hope that we have a profound impact on the entire city, which would include, I think, the 7th Ward. Right? Yeah, we look forward to that. But look, I think a lot of good ideas are going to come from our engagement with the community, right? This won't be a one-way thing. We'll be talking to and engaging with people in the community, and we expect to get a lot of good ideas from that engagement. So this isn't, we're not just going to stay in a lab by ourselves trying to put a program together. We're going to work with the entire city and reach out to stakeholders and get their ideas and see if we can find ways to execute against them. So we look forward to that.
How about a big round of applause? We got a party this evening.